really deep. We like this, don't we?
Mm-hmm.
So Jenny Lyon here. I am a light activator, a mentor. I'm a purpose visionary, or just call me Jenny Lyon, that's fine. I love helping people transforming their lives and live their fullest potential by removing energy blocks that are actually stopping them from living their fullest potential. So that is my passion. That is my purpose. And yeah, I feel really thrilled to have Luke Scott III on my show. I started this show last year, actually around this time, with the intention of bringing as much consciousness, light, inspiration, and transformation free to people, so they can, you know, plug into high conscious conversations that is actually going to be exciting, inspiring, uplifting, and educational as well. And then with knowing that and hearing this, being able to take some good steps towards their own growth and awakening from listening to the show. So that's the reason for the show. All in alignment with what I do. So yeah, thank you very much, Luke, for coming with me today. So good to have you.
My absolute pleasure. Talking deep and creating shifts is one of my favorite things in the whole world to do.
Yes. So we met. Let's just check this one out. I remember, Luke, I was laying in bed, like really ill. I had some chest infection, some program shifting, of course. And I was scrolling on Facebook, and I was friends with you, Luke, but I didn't know that I was your friend. And
the joys of Facebook.
So, yes, am I your friend? Yes, I think I'm your friend.
So many friends, so little connection.
Yeah, all right, then he can be my friend. No. And then I was really ill in bed, actually. I was scrolling on Facebook thinking, I'll just spend a little bit of time on Facebook. And there was some question, I can't actually remember. It was some question about spirituality, about awakening. And I said to Luke in the comments, I said, something about light body activations. Do you remember?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And that's actually how we met. And then Luke and I like hooked up and did some work and stuff together. So that was really
hooked up in a non-sexual way.
In a non-sexual way. So yeah.
Just confusing because you're talking about being in bed and now we're hooking up. So.
Yeah, exactly. Could be exactly. I was in bed and all of a sudden he was there. No. So that was like life-changing. And also getting to know Luke and the speaking academy that he has was really great. It's just been very transformational for me as well. So Luke, tell us look, there's lots of things to talk about today, but just give us a small intro, because some people will not know you because we're streaming on my timeline, so not everyone will maybe know you. So could you just give us a little little explanation why you're here? Yeah,
I would love to. One of the things that Jenny's really amazing at is helping people with upgrades. And I had a big energetic upgrade just last weekend. I went to this retreat and my guides told me really clearly I had to rebrand myself. And so here is me rebranding myself. I've been helping people with becoming public speakers for a while now, but it's very spiritual speaker training. It's all about connection and energy, and it's quite different to how most people do teaching about learning presentations. But I've been told now I'm not a public speaking trainer anymore. That is not me. I have to step into a bigger version of me. I got told that I am now an international performer. And what does that mean? It means I speak at big events all around the world. Yes, doing speaking, but also doing singing, also doing dancing, and just being fully self-expressed.
Nice.
I've got my book, which is coming out very soon. It's just in the publishing process. And that is all about finding your truth. It's how to get deeply connected, because even though I was teaching public speaking training, Jenny, it was really, I was teaching people how to get connected with themselves, with their audiences, and then how to express that connection. Like once they find out who they are, it was teaching them how to express that. So I'm still doing a similar thing, but it's now just much more multidimensional. And a lot bigger and more fun.
Yes. So you're not constrained to the container of exactly, you know, the public speaking script, or, you know, there's still maybe some steps how to go about it. But can you tell us a little bit more about how you would now teach people to express themselves multidimensionally? How would you teach that? Having had this upgrade and guidance, really.
Absolutely. What we think we are is usually a tiny percentage of what is actually possible for us. And our soul, our higher selves, God, the universe, whatever you believe in, it can see the fullness of who we are. And even when we think we're playing quite big, it's actually, we're just scratching the surface. And so this is my invitation to people. I do this process called future visioning. We literally take you into the future, into a future timeline. Everyone can do this. Everyone can access timelines. You just have to know how. We take you 5 years into the future and you see the fullness of who you can be. So when I see myself, my book sells millions of copies. It's translated into 14 different languages. I'm on the Tonight Show in America, as one of the biggest spiritual teachers in the world. I'm a mentor for politicians, for the president, for people like that, for big actors. And I have this vision of us selling out the O2 Arena. I've told you about this already. Our Speakers Academy, the standout speakers, we sell out the O2 Arena in London, 20,000 people. And we don't just speak, we're singing, we're performing, we have a whole band. People want to be entertained. And how can we entertain them and shift them at the same time? So this is the more multi-dimensional version of you, like how you think you could express your message. How could you make it more entertaining? How could you make it so it shifts people just by you being there?
So like bringing more joy, more the energy of joy and fun into it as well. Because at that vibration, as we know, people, if you don't know, that joy and vibration really brings out, it starts shifting on a deeper level, other things that needs to move within our beings, right? So that sounds like that sounds like a really creative way of teaching it.
Yeah, it's so good. So last week I went to 2 different experiences. One of them was like a jamming session where we were just letting our voices go and we were experimenting. And then I did my performance the next day in an actual bar. So I was on stage performing, no script, just freestyle singing, freestyle dancing, just letting out whatever wanted to come out. And it was so fun.
Wow, that sounds, I mean, look, for anyone who's not done any type of performing or any type of public speaking, what would you say to those people? Because that sounds a bit daunting. Like even for me, I'd probably give it a go. I'd be like, right, let's do this. But not everyone is quite not there yet. What happens with the fear?
This is why we teach people. So we have our Standout Speakers Academy. We run 6 events every month, and you can come to those events and we teach you. We give you a safe space where you can come out of your shell, where you can step out of your comfort zone and you can try different things. So we actually have a 4-day intensive event coming up in a couple of weeks. And there's one exercise we do there where we just completely shatter your comfort zone in the best possible way. You're really held, but you just get to see the most expanded version of yourself. So my advice to everyone is find a place where you feel safe to practice and expand. You need to get a great community around you, because if you're around people who are fully self-expressed, you'll automatically become more self-expressed. If you're around people who are closed and don't speak their truth, then that's more likely what you're going to be. It's going to be very hard to kind of be in your truth and be fully self-expressed if you're surrounded by people who aren't.
So do you still call it then the Speaking Academy, or is it more now going to be like more of a creative, multi-dimensional Speaking Academy?
Well, it always was. So we're called the Standout Speakers Academy. So we teach people who stand out, and we attract people who are different. So people like you, right, who are very spiritual. And you came to one of our conscious open mic nights that we did. So we do these conscious open mic nights. You get 11 minutes to perform whatever you want to perform. Like no other speaking academy does that, right? Where you have singers and dancers and speakers all merged together. So we've always been that. I think this is just now stepping more fully into it. and creating a safe space for other people to explore. Not everybody's going to be a singer. Not everybody's going to be a dancer. You don't know what your creativity might be. I love shows like Britain's Got Talent and stuff like that. And you see there's people who paint live, they do live drawing, they do all sorts of different ways to be artistic. Like, you need to figure out what your way to be a superstar is, but everyone's a superstar.
So with this comes a lot of coming onto one of those events and keep going to those events, because every time you do it, it must be kind of going a deep layer deeper. Would it be good for anyone who needs self-confidence? Because this is a big thing, right? Being seen, being heard, what other people think, what do they think of me? All these, negative beliefs that people, have around being visible. What experience do you have in that?
One of the things I get my students to do is to experiment and go to different kinds of events. So you can come and you can just watch, or maybe you'll come with us to a dancing event. So we do these great freestyle dancing events, and you can come and you can just see how your body wants to move and just like get a bit funky with it. Or maybe you just want to watch people. Maybe you want to come to a singing workshop. We did one this Saturday. We did a vocal activation workshop. We were doing mantras and chanting. And we have another one of those coming up in 2 weeks' time. It's like wherever you're at, you can come and get as involved as you want or not. But the thing is, if you don't feel happy right now, if you feel like you're playing small, you have to take a step. And whether it's to come to our speaking academy, or whether it's to work with Jenny, or whether it's to go to any other event, just go. I was so nervous about dancing when I started my public speaking. I was very stiff on stage. So I started going to these dancing workshops. One was called 5 Rhythms. One was called Ecstatic Dancing. The first lesson I went to, I was so ego. I was worried about looking good and what would people think. After 5 lessons, I just didn't give a crap. Like, I was just so flowy. And now I have been on MTV doing dancing. I can dance on stage with no fear. It's so beautiful, and it can happen really quickly for you. But you have to stop playing small. This is one of our mottos. It's you have to stop playing small.
Yeah, exactly. With the the actual topic of today, if you like, if we were going to talk about quantum clearing, can you talk to us a little bit about what this means to you at the moment? Because prior to the show, I was messaging you and said, look, Luke, what do you want to talk about? And you mentioned this. So talk to me about what your standpoint is with this, for the regression and the quantum clearing.
Absolutely. Wherever you're at in your life right now, you're there because of programs and patterns that you've been following since you were a kid. And your parents might have loved you, or they might not have, or maybe you were a very loud child and you were very self-expressed, and maybe they had work to do, or maybe they had important business calls and they kept telling you to be quiet or to stop. Or I did a workshop on Saturday and I said, who here thinks they're a great singer? And only a few people put their hand up. I said, those of you who didn't put your hand up, did your parents ever tell you when you were a kid that you were a bad singer? And almost all of them said yes. Their parents didn't want to hear them sing when they were a kid because it was inconvenient. And so they told them they were bad singers, and now they believe it. But I don't really believe that all of those people are terrible singers, but they've been living out that pattern and they've had that belief now since they were a child. So when we start stepping out, and you said it feels daunting to step out, imagine Jenny Lyon's show, right? You singing and dancing on stage, like thousands of people. Somewhere.
I'd be there with you, Luke.
Yeah.
I'm jamming it.
Exactly. But somewhere that if you follow that feeling of dauntingness, that fear or nervousness, if you follow that back, there'll be somewhere in your timeline, either in this lifetime or in a past lifetime, where you did express yourself and there was some kind of negative consequence.
Yeah.
Where you spoke your truth and something bad happened as a result of it. And then your ego says, nope, we're not going to do that again because I want you to stay safe. Remember how scary that was last time? You were singing really loud and then your dad shouted at you. Remember that? We don't want to get shouted at, okay? So we're going to be quiet We're going to play small.
Yeah. So even if we don't believe this on a rational sort of level anymore, it's in us, in our subconscious. So we might say, actually, yes, my dad did say that, but actually rationally, no, I think I can do it. But then it's the subconscious would actually automatically just kind of put a lid on it and stop us. So it's about getting through, isn't it? Mm-hmm.
It's in your subconscious, it's in your cellular memory, it's in your DNA memory. And as you now know, and because you taught me about light bodies, it's also in your energy field too.
Yes.
So you have to clear these things multidimensionally. And this is why we call it quantum clearing or quantum regression, is you have to understand that we are not just this one person, right? There's a version of me that you're speaking to now, but there's an infinite number of different versions of me across all different timelines, different dimensions, in parallel universes and different planes of reality. And so when I clear something in myself, we have to shift that across all those different dimensions, planes, levels. Most people don't do that. They just go to therapy, they clear things on the mental level, but then they don't get rid of the trauma in their cells and their DNA, and it stays there. And doesn't it come so quick? Yeah. As soon as someone says, hey, do you want to come speak? You're like, oh.
No, I'm petrified.
Or they thrust a microphone in your face and they go, go on, Jenny, sing.
Do you know, it's quite interesting with the public, exactly, with the public, because it's not just speaking your truth, it's actually being visible as well. And if you look at, past lifetimes, how many times did we have to hide? Because it was quite scary to be visible, possibly, when we're speaking our truth. So it's about speaking the truth, being visible, having impact, because that's what it's about, right? Public speaking, sharing your truth, being vulnerable. So it's just by doing the speaking itself, it must be triggering so many programs that, needing to be cleared. And once you clear those and keep going, it gets easier and easier, because it's obviously safe, these days to do this. Cool.
This is a big thing, Jenny. This is a big thing. It's safe now. I can be on this call and talk to you about angels and extraterrestrial beings and channeling. But 30 years ago, that wasn't so safe. And I know people personally who've been locked in psychiatric institutions and told they're schizophrenic, when really they just see other beings. They were just gifted. And now they've been on medications for 30 years and they think there's something wrong with them. And so we have in this society, in the collective consciousness, a lot of fear around stepping out as a multidimensional being. I remember the first time I hugged a tree in a public park, I was petrified because I thought I was going to get arrested. Yeah, I thought I was going to get arrested. Yeah. And sectioned for hugging a tree.
Yeah. So with the whole, so your book is coming out. Tell me about the book.
Yeah, it's called Find Your Truth. So it's 13 chapters, 13 processes to teach you how to get connected with your inner being, how to get connected with the real you, and how to get connected with the whole universe. It's everything from different meditation techniques, breath works, the future visioning, how to create great communities, how to express yourself. There's so many different things in there. It's really a guidebook for anyone who's in the awakening process.
Okay, good. So it's kind of a bit of a guidebook, like you can do some processes and make some notes, and it's kind of a bit teaching in there then.
It takes you through the whole journey from being asleep and like just waking up and realizing that there's more to life than you've been told by your family, your friends, and your school and everything, all the way through to being completely connected with your inner being, activating your gifts. So there's a big section in there about connecting to your infinite self, and your infinite self, your higher self, whatever you want to call it. You can download and activate so many gifts when you connect to this larger part of you. But most people don't even know that it exists yet. But we're working on it, aren't we, Jenny?
We're working on it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we're working on it. Well, the thing is, I can't remember the exact number, but it's only 0.1 promille or something. That it's like 8,000 people that has to be fully enlightened to activate the awakening of the whole world. Okay. Because so this is why it's so important that we all keep, plugging onto the awakening journey, because we are all connected in the Christ consciousness grid as infinite beings of light. And every time you clear a program and every time you raise your vibration, it goes up into the Christ consciousness field and feeds into the rest of the world. So by one person, not just one person, many people doing their clearings and their energy work, it goes up into the Christ consciousness grid and it plugs down into the rest of the world. And I think it's something like 8,000 people, like fully enlightened. And I'm talking like 1,000%, sorry, 1,000 on the Hawkins scale of consciousness. So fully enlightened. And that will actually then just, it would be like a over the whole grid around the world. And the whole world is awake. So, so are we working towards that?
That sounds great. That does sound great. But it doesn't. You don't have to get to full enlightenment.
No.
Personally, to your contributions, because a lot of people watching, they might not ever get to that level in this lifetime.
No,
they'll come back.
Exactly.
One of the great things that quantum physics shows us, there's something called quantum entanglement. Mm-hmm. So once two particles have been connected, they always stay connected by this thing called the quantum web. And they've done lots of experiments that have proved this now. So what does that mean? It means when you shift something in yourself, it shifts for the whole collective too.
Yes.
And whether that is you upgrade yourself, you get more courageous. The whole collective get more courageous. You see it very quickly in your family and your friend circle. The people you spend the most time with, when one of them gets a big upgrade, everyone else gets that upgrade too. And this is a really beautiful thing that we can all do together. You just need to do your part. Just keep making a step, keep being brave, keep going into the shadow, keep doing the clearings. Like Jenny has loads of amazing clearings that I've done so many of Jenny's clearings, right? and every time, every time you just get a little bit higher vibration, a little bit higher, you get another tool, you get another treasure. It's like, and bit by bit, we become these explorers, these people who we can then navigate whatever comes up for us. And that's what the book is about. It's just giving people these 13 processes, these 13 very simple tools, so they can, whatever situation comes up, they have some way to react to it.
Do you know what? I like that it's 13, because in the soul contract work, which I do, and I integrated it into my programs and I work with my clients with this, 13 is the vibration of the divine feminine, which is the Christ consciousness energy, which is like actually the energy that is helping to raise the vibration of the earth. So I like that it's 13, because amazing. 13 is that. Yeah.
Amazing.
In this system. I mean, there's many other numerology systems, of course, but in this system. So what can you see now, Luke, for the next, sort of year with helping more people raising vibration? What do you see in your speaker academy? What do you see, in your business with this? Because obviously this is your calling, this is your passion.
Yeah, really stepping into more deeply into the role of being a spiritual teacher and also a performer. Spiritual teacher, I really help people holistically. So even if they come to me to learn public speaking in the past, most of what we do has nothing to do with learning a presentation, right? It's all about doing the deep work, clearing the blockages, working on ancestral stuff, activating their gifts. So I do this program called Connect With Yourself. It's amazing. It's a 4-week program. It's coming up in January. So the first 4 weeks in January. And every morning we get together, we do a meditation together, we do breath work together, we do something funky, and then we get connect in the evenings too. Over those 4 weeks, we work on the whole lifestyle of people, their physical aspects, mental, emotional, and spiritual. So this is what I want to do more of. I want to help people get connected and aligned physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. Because when you're a connected being, it's so much easier for it. I did this spoken word performance. So I love doing spoken word. It's a very interesting way to perform for me. And in one of my poems, it talks about shining. And it says, if you don't dare to shine, then how will the other shiny people find you? when you are fully empowered, when you are beaming, when you are transmitting the fullness of who you are, your soul tribe can see it. But if you're playing small and you're hiding, then how can they find you? It's very difficult. So by putting ourselves out there on stage, on videos, people like you can see me and we can connect, and then we've had a beautiful relationship together.
Exactly. And we only met like few times in real life, more online. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah. So we have to shine brightly if we want to be truly like tapping into the fullness of who we are. And that's what I love to help people to do.
Yeah, and I've got something to add there actually. When I teach my clients about this, about being visible, about getting out there, about spreading their message, about not holding back, I always say to get out of your own way, drop into your heart and connect to why you actually are here. Because the service and the transformation that you're meant to give other people is like deeper and stronger than your own blocks. So sometimes that helps. And I feel that helps them. So anyone listening now, if there is a fear about being seen, just think about those people that are actually they're waiting for you. They're waiting to see you and they're waiting to hear you. And I think that helps because then you're connecting with those on a heart level, and then you can kind of get out of your head, because it's the head, right, that gets in the way.
It massively is. One of the things I talk about in my book is called soul themes. And this is something that most people don't understand in my experience so far. And they think they're a bad person, or they think that they can't be a teacher because they've made some mistakes in their life. But it's the total opposite. For me, all the best teachers I know have made loads of mistakes. They've shown up in their shadow a lot, and they really have learned who they don't want to be by showing up in their shadow.
Yeah.
And the soul themes aspect of this, let's say, for example, my wife, one of her soul themes is forgiveness. So if you choose to come here to incarnate as a being who embodies forgiveness, that means you need to learn about forgiveness. And so you'll have lots of opportunities to forgive people. And often when you are in your shadow, you will be very unforgiving. So one of my soul themes is being in my truth, embodying being in my truth. So what does that mean? That means for a lot of my life, I was a liar. I used to just make things up. I would embellish stories. If there were 4 people, I'd say there were 6. You know, sometimes I just completely made up stories because I thought it would make people like me more. But of course, what happens then is people only like that pretend version of you. They don't really like the real you because they don't know the real you. And so my journey has been to embody my truth, share with people the fullness of who I am, warts and all, and then people can really love me. So whatever your soul themes are, just know that you will probably show up as the opposite of those a lot. And that's okay, because that's how you learn more about who you really are. And you can definitely teach someone about, you don't have to be completely forgiving to teach someone about forgiveness. Like,
no one's ever
done so much. Exactly. When do you become perfect? You don't. And so you can start teaching from where you are now. But own up to it. Say, hey, I'm a human. Sometimes I slip up. Sometimes I fall into my shadow. Sometimes my programs and my conditioning, they catch up on me. They catch me out. But I'm getting better and I'm working on it. And if you do see me embellishing or lying or being in my shadow, please do let me know. I would really appreciate that, especially from close friends. If you ask your close friends to call you out when you're in your shadow, it's a really powerful thing to do.
Yeah, and actually being able to say, hey, hands up, I made a mistake, but hey, I learned so much from it, you know, because this is how we grow. I think you're never really finished. You know, you're always going to grow and shed another layer. There's always going to be, your hero could be like yourself in 10 years. And when you're there in 10 years, it's going to be in the next 10 years. You know, it's like you're always growing, you're always evolving. And it's important to just commit to that journey, really, because this is how we lead others and guide others, to commit to the work yourself. You know, be be the talk that you're talking about.
What soul themes do you think you embody really well, Jenny? What do you think you're here to transmit to the world?
Empowerment.
Amazing.
Because I never thought I was good enough to be a spiritual teacher, to be a guide, to be a mentor, to take people to the next level. And even when I fantasized about that, it was almost like, but don't be so stupid. You know what I mean? Don't, you know, my ego was telling me, well, don't be so daft. Who would listen to you? And what do you know? And it was almost like, I remember knowing that I knew inside my heart, I knew the truth and I knew exactly what I could do. Like only I knew this. And there was just a mind getting in the way. And I only needed one conversation with a spiritual teacher of mine that just kind of just snapped it all. Like actually just went, right, this is exactly what I've been feeling my whole life. And now being told it's okay. This is who I am actually. I'm like, oh, so that's when I had my soul contract reading. And then since then, everything just dismantled rapidly, you know, rapidly. But do you know what? I was just inclined to show the people. Oh, we have a question here, actually. Let's see what that is. Can you see the chat box as well?
It said, when will you do the clearing? We are 30 minutes in. I think people want a clearing from
They
you.
want a clearing. Okay. Are you going to do a clearing?
I'd love to, if that's what the people want.
Are we doing a clearing? I didn't know we were doing clearings. Okay, well, we can. Okay. Yes. Everyone's going, yes, please. We're going to do a clearing. Okay. So just a quick one. Can you wait 5 minutes? Because I wanted to say something here with Luke. I was just looking, when you said your soul theme is to speak your truth.
To be my truth.
Or be in your truth.
Yeah, embody it, yeah.
Exactly. I don't even think you remember this is exactly your soul contract. And I was going to share it and show what it is, but only if you wanted me to. So
you can share anything, yeah, sure.
Yeah, share anything. Let's just share that because I just got your numbers up. And so this I'm going to just very briefly, some people would not have seen this system before. Some people will know what this system is, but I just thought, fives when you were saying the truth. So with Luke here, so anyone, see if there was a question. There was a question there. We will do the clearing. Yes. Is there any more? Oh yeah, okay, fine. We are going to do the clearing. Okay. Just looking there. Right. So Luke was born Luke Paul Jevons. That's how you say it, right?
Correct, yeah.
And he had this name until you were 9 or something?
11.
11, that's right. Oh no, it says 11 to present here, yeah. So you had that your name for 11 years, and then you were Luke Paul Scott?
Yes, yeah.
And then kind of Luke Scott for a while?
Uh-huh.
And now Luke Scott the third, which we came up with. Okay, when Luke was talking about living, embodying, being in his truth, he's talking about his physical karma 5, because the 5s is all about speaking, living, and being and talking your truth no matter what. And a lot of people with 5s would have had execution and a lot of trauma around speaking the truth in the past, like past lives. So it's no surprise that Luke is a public speaker, transformer, if you like, transforming other people's lives with his 5s. So that's that really stood out. When you also said this about not really telling them exactly who you were, so like almost hiding the true Luke, is that right? Yeah. These are the 7s here. So the 7s will be a feeling of being deep down, almost believing that you're a bad person, but like it's a deep feeling that it's not really rational. And you really want to be liked and just, accepted and loved for who you are. And then sometimes the 7s will actually pretend to be something else, just in fear of not being liked for who exactly they are. Is that something you feel since then?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's really, so I just wanted to share that with the audience. So Luke is really here transmuting his karma and his challenges into true gifts of service by working on his stuff all the time. So that means, so I'm going to stop sharing now. That means that when Luke is doing this, he's actually coming into his full soul mission. Because once you transmute your karma and your challenges, then you are truly coming into your gifts, because by transmuting them, that's where the true gift lies. So you are well on your way, bro.
Sounds good.
Yeah, wonderful. Now, clearing. Somebody, so yes, we can do clearing. Who do you want to lead it?
I would love to lead a clearing.
Yeah, please do.
Here.
I can actually receive. Why not?
Of course.
I'm going to receive. Nice.
So just before we do that, I just want to talk about the soul theme, Jenny. You said about empowerment.
Yes.
And this is really important, because if your soul theme is empowerment, you're here to empower people. That means often when you're in your darker moments or your low moments, you'll feel very disempowered.
Yes.
And this is how you learn that that's not who you want to be.
Absolutely.
And so as we do this clearing, I invite everybody just to release any judgments you have around yourself, to release any expectations of how you should be, to really forgive yourself for however you've showed up in the past. That past version of you is not you, not the you in this now. They've got their own stuff that they're dealing with, because time doesn't really exist in the way that we perceive it to. So from this beautiful place of acceptance of who we are, self-love and kindness to ourselves, let's do a clearing. I invite you to get comfortable in your chair, and if you can, do so safely. Close your eyes. Just take some deep breaths deep down into your abdomen. Just imagine when you breathe in, imagine the air can come all the way down through your chest. Imagine it can come down into your belly. Imagine it can go all the way down to the base of your spine. So every time you breathe in, you're really activating those lower energy centers. When you breathe out, you're just releasing anything that doesn't serve you. Just going to ask now that every person watching, listening, tuning in, physically or non-physically, is surrounded in love and light. And that they get exactly what they need from this process, in alignment with what's in their highest, and in alignment with what's in the highest good of all. And during this process, I invite you just to let your imagination flow. Don't try and logic things too much. Don't try and think about things too much. Just breathe deeply into your body. Trust that your body knows exactly what you need to clear. And I'd love for you to imagine now yourself walking into a cinema, and it's completely empty. You can sit anywhere that you want. Choose your favorite place to sit, and just imagine yourself going and sitting down there and getting nice and comfortable in your seat. And you have some snacks on one side, a nice cold drink on the other, and you can feel the coldness of the drink. You can feel the condensation going down the cup. And as the screen turns on the screen, you can see a video of yourself exactly as you are now, listening to me. When you can see that very clearly, you look down in your hand and you notice you have this remote control. And on this remote control, there's a button. It says fast forward 5 years. And when you're ready, take a nice deep breath in. and out. And using the power of your imagination, I want you to imagine pushing this button. And as you push this button, I want you to see that on the screen, you get shown very clearly, just like a movie, exactly what you can be doing 5 years from now. And as you see this version of yourself 5 years in the future, just see, what do they feel like? That energy like? How are they showing up? What are they really embodying? And when you're ready, I invite you to take another deep breath in and out. And using the power of your imagination, I want you to imagine you can dive inside the screen. And as you dive inside the screen, I want you to dive inside that future version of yourself, so you can see and hear and feel and taste and touch everything as if it's happening right now. Feel what that would feel like to be that 5-year future self. And just let it play out just like a movie, and just trust that you're seeing exactly what you need to see. I want you to know that the law of attraction doesn't bring you what you want, it brings you what you are. The secret is the feeling. So allow yourself, if this is something you want to bring into your life, allow yourself to feel it fully. Feel what it would feel like to be that fully empowered version of you. That multi-dimensional you. Breathe that into your body. Imagine you can breathe that into your cells. Imagine you can breathe it into your DNA. Imagine you can bring that energy into you right now. And ask your body to remember this feeling. And as you're now feeling this feeling, I'm just going to ask our guides. I'm going to ask Source. And any other benevolent beings, 100% from the light, that wish to assist us, to release, remove, and clear any bonds, vows, contracts, decisions, programs, obligations, in any language that have been keeping us stuck, that have been making us play small, that have been preventing you from being the fullness of who you are. We'll ask for these to be released, removed, and cleared across all time frames, all dimensions, all parallel universes, all planes of reality, in this life, in all past lives, and in all future lives, and in all directions of space and time, from now to the beginning of creation and beyond, down to our cellular level and into our DNA structure. We'll ask for these to be replaced with. And I want you to feel into now, what would you like to replace all those things with that have been released? Could be peace, love, joy, strength, courage, or anything else that you feel is in your highest and best. Imagine yourself being filled up with that now. Imagine all the versions of you all being filled up with this now. Take a nice deep breath in and out. And see very gently you come back into your cinema seat. And you can still see that movie of you there on the screen playing out. And when you feel ready to, just start to come back into your body. Thank whoever you would like to thank. And just start to wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes as you allow this beautiful new energy to integrate in your body with ease and grace. Just ask your guides to assist in this integration process. You can upgrade in the most kind way possible for you. When you're ready, take a nice deep breath in and open your eyes. That was a very short version of a clearing that I like to do. And a future visioning process rolled in.
Yeah, but this is a bit of a taster. It was very nice. It's very relaxing. Yeah.
I'd love to know what future visions you saw for yourselves. If you want to pop in the comments.
Yeah, pop in the comments. What did you see? See who's here. Let's have a look. Irene, Eva, Melissa. See if they any comments. Melissa.
What does future you embody?
Yes. What did the future you embody? I saw myself coming out of a car, going to some sort of like either a speaking event or some sort of event of impact. So it could have been either me, no, I was in it, but it was like, you know, public basically. So yeah, that's what's happening.
What kind of energy did that future you have?
The energy was quite, the energy was like, I was focused, I was calm, I was grounded, I'm leading with love, transformation, holding the space for people like I'm doing now, but kind of like even more, almost more business-like. We're not being business-like, but do you know what I mean? More, it's more public. So actually physically going to this big town event type thing. The feeling
Amazing.
was empowerment. Yeah, total, fully empowered. So
amazing.
Yeah.
When we see these visions, I believe this is really us jumping into a future timeline. That is my intention, and everyone has the capability to do it because time is actually a constant. I talk about this in my book a lot. Time is a constant. It is us that is moving, and so this future you exists now, and an infinite number of future yous exist now, and we can tap into them in our meditations, and we can bring forward the attributes that we really love. And so this process, it's not that you have to now choose that timeline, but if you liked parts of it, if you enjoyed that feeling, you can bring that feeling in.
Yeah.
And maybe you won't get to that exact moment, or maybe you will. That's your choice. But you can bring forward those parts that you really, really love. And like I said earlier, asking for those things to be cleared across all those different timelines, dimensions, universes, planes of reality is so important, down to your DNA level and into your cellular memory as well. It's very, very important. This is
so
what
somebody's saying here. Sorry, Luke. Sorry. Somebody's saying being a romantic partner to somebody.
Amazing.
Nice.
Sounds great.
Yes. So sorry to interrupt you, but sorry. Yes. So what happens is that when we, because the subconscious mind understands only emotion, we cannot tell the subconscious mind by speaking English to it or whatever language you speak to change, but we change the subconscious mind with help of emotions. So we embody an emotion of where we want to be or what we can actually see of our future self jumping into the timeline. We are then sending the signals to the subconscious mind to go, that's me. And guess what? it will turn up, because the subconscious mind attracts what it is.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
the emotion is very, very important. You lock the emotion in. This is exactly also what I do in my programs and with my clients, because we're locking in the future.
Yeah, and it's expanding people's awarenesses of what feelings are available for them. Maybe you've never felt yourself be that powerful before. Maybe you've never felt that expanded version of you before, but it's real. And one of the beautiful things that happens is when you now know that, you can actually get even better than that in 5 years, because you can accelerate things. And so you can really ask in your manifestations for this or better.
Mm-hmm.
That's just like scratching the surface of what's
Scratching
capable
the
of
surface,
being.
exactly. And together, I mean, I just want to sort of, because we'll finish now in a minute, to see if there's any questions actually as well. But yeah, I just want to tie that in with that. When we keep going to this vision, or they may be different visions at different times that we do visualizations, the idea is to reprogram the subconscious mind with the highest version of you, at the same time clearing everything that is in our DNA, in our programs, in our energy fields, whatever blocks are there, and keep revisiting it, because it's like rewiring, right? So we're also rewiring the brain for those things to happen. So it's a repetitive, like we want to keep going. You can't just visualize once and then think it's all going to be done. It's keep doing it, keep doing the work, keep up the work, keep committing to a better life. Really, that is not just better for everyone you have impact on, but also better for your life, for your family, for everyone. So
the more you feel it, the more impact it has, because it rewires your neural network in your brain.
Yeah,
it creates a new neural network between your heart and your brain, and it also rewires your nervous system.
Yes.
So it can be great if you want to do a process like that, or you can rewatch this and you can do that same process in the morning as part of your meditation.
Exactly.
It can be really, really good.
Do you know, I healed a lot of my adrenal burnout with this kind of process, because I was rewiring the nerves, I was rewiring the brain, rewiring my emotions, which then changed the chemicals that are involved with the hormonal system, which was like the adrenal burnout. So a lot can happen with the capacity of the mind and the consciousness, together with obviously healthy diet and things like that. But yeah,
there's more to it. There's a lot more to this process than just this,
course.
because you can clear the things, but what you also need to work on is understanding the lesson for why that thing showed up in the first place. Because if you just go back to the same repeated behavior, you're just going to end up in the same place again. What another thing to do, and you can dive into, is why do you show up in that way? Why did that situation happen to you? What did your soul want you to learn from that? And this is another part of the quantum regression side of things, is okay, why did I create that illness? Because we're in full control. We're sovereign beings. We create everything. And I don't believe anything happens by chance. It's all perfectly engineered by ourselves and our team.
On a higher level, on all different levels of us, it's absolutely, programmed and set out for us. Yeah. Wonderful. But we have the power to change. So totally have the power to change. So thank you so much. See if there's any questions for Luke, because sometimes there is people who wants to know more, and sometimes it's not. Dear lady who is in the Zoom webinar, could you please let us know if you have any questions? Luke, you disappeared. Anyone else here?
So I'd just love to say, for everybody who's listening, you can use this process for clearing fears, doubts, for getting rid of guilt, shame, anxiety, whatever the thing is that is holding you back. Follow it back to the root. Where was this thing created? Why did you create this feeling? Why did you want this experience? Learn the lesson from it. And this is not a logical thing. Like you said, it's not about thinking, oh, I wonder, I'll work out like a detective.
No, you can't think it out. No.
You need to just be open and see it from a third party perspective. Why did this thing show up? Retrospectively, it's easier to do these things, right? We can look back when we were a kid and we can do it retrospectively, but we still do that from our mind place. So find someone, whether it's myself or Jenny, or there's loads of other people who can do these processes with you. You can also do it yourself, just it's more challenging for some people. Go back to the point of creation, clear the energy on all those levels that we talked about earlier, integrate the lesson, and it will go. And I believe this is true for any illness, injury, disease. It can all be cleared, because every single thing that happens to you is a gift for you to expand and grow.
Just a note there with what you said. I just wanted to kind of, we can do things on us for ourselves, but to transform deeply, we need someone else to hold a space, because there's only certain programs that will come up when you're on your own. And only certain programs will come up when you're with someone else. So to go really deep and to really shift, like on a very deep level, you need a space holder. So, but in between, you do your processes. Do you not agree with that, Luke?
Yeah, but we have holders all the time. So we have, when I do work by myself, I connect to a guide or an angel or someone who can come in and be the space holder for me. Or I don't think it has to be a physical being necessarily. It can help to have a physical being. Like, I know I've had lots of sessions with you and it's been great, and you taught me stuff that I just wasn't even in my awareness. And so being with you is incredible. But I've also had sessions with angels where they've done that to me, and they've shown me things, and extraterrestrial beings where they've shown me things that just, they held the space.
Of course they do. Of course they do. Yeah. But to shift deeply and to go to the deepest parts of a human, you need another human, I believe, because the subconscious will hide it. The ego will hide it until it's like safe to come out. And by just being with yourself and with your higher beings, it may not feel completely like holding, because you're on your own in the 3D plane. But so I would definitely, I mean, there's stuff coming out of me that I could never have imagined if I didn't have a space holder.
Yeah, and sometimes some of my most transformational things have been meditations, like listening to people's guided meditations like yours. Sometimes it's been having physical one-on-one sessions.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's been using plant medicines and things as well to accelerate things. I think there's lots of different ways we can accelerate stuff, but working with a gifted healer or energy worker is definitely a big accelerator.
Yeah, absolutely. We all need space holders, and we all need support. We need to feel belonging and feeling that we are all one in it together, really. We're absolutely not on our own.
No, absolutely not.
No.
I used to think we were. I was very left brain, very logical, didn't believe in any angels, God, I didn't believe in any of that stuff. And then I had my big awakening experience, and I saw an angel, and then now I can communicate with all these different beings. What we think we know is just a tiny percentage of what's really going on. And what I know now is a tiny percentage of what is going on.
Exactly. We don't know.
Fun.
Exactly. But I would also invite people to sit in meditation and invite guidance, as you said, from the higher beings, because yes, we can be taught a lot of things from the higher beings that they can teach us. So definitely open for learning, I'd say. It's a very good way to, when you're connecting with your guides.
Absolutely.
Fantastic. All right, I'm going to round it up. I don't think there was any questions. Nah, there wasn't any questions there. If there are any, we can jump. You can drop the questions anyway, and we'll answer.
Yeah, comment them below. I'd love to get back to you, or you can message me as well if there's anything in particular you want to talk about. It's a bit more private. So
I'm going to also drop in there below the link to your waiting list for the book. Is that right?
Fantastic. Yeah, if anyone is interested in getting a copy of my book, it's currently in the publishing process, which takes a long time. I had no idea it takes so long to publish a book. So if you want to click the link, you'll be able to get on the waiting list, and then we'll let you know when it comes out. It's called Find Your Truth. It's going to be absolutely a game changer. And in my vision, it sells millions of copies, and it's translated into 14 languages around the world. whether that happens or not, no attachment to it, but I think it'd be really cool if it did.
Very likely. Very likely. Yeah. Okay then. So thank you so much, Luke. I'll hook up with you another time. Really happy for everyone who's listened. Thank you for coming here and taking your time out to invest, in your transformation by listening to us. So great. Thank you so much.
Beautiful. And I'd just love to invite everyone as well. If you're interested in speaking, we have a platform for speakers. We're always looking for more people to come and speak at our events. So if you want to come and get more exposure and you want to practice your public speaking, check out the Standout Speakers Academy. We have online courses. We have events all the time, 6 events a month at the moment in London, but we're going to be having more all around the world. So very exciting, and we're looking for people who are open-hearted, open-minded, and want to help us with this mission of expanding, selling out the O2 Arena, 20,000 people. So if you want to come speak at the O2 Arena, let me know.
Yeah, great. Yeah, okay. Thank you so much, Luke. So yeah, just drop Luke a message about that. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining.
Thank you, Jenny. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you. See you soon. Bye. So you just hang on there while I stop streaming. See how I do that. 1 second.
This is like the out.